Hi guys, so I'm doing a little introduction and tutorial today. I'm introducing formally the Old Design shop on Etsy, and I will link her below. I am on her design team. Well, she doesn't have an official design team, but we're working together to promote her items in the shop. I'm using them in my journals and sharing with you some of the amazing things she has. So today I'm going to do a little tutorial with one of the files in her shop. These are vintage inspired, or she calls them vintage style flashcards. This is Variety Set 2. They print like the ATC card size, and 9 on a sheet. I've already cut them out to save time, but there's table, kettle, dog, clock, hat, cat, butterfly, bed, and balloon. And so you could put them in your journals like this, but I want to show you how just in a minute or two you can quickly add a lot of character to them and make them amazing additions to your journals. The nice thing about these too is you can print them as many times as you want, use them in multiple journals, and since they're so what's the word I'm looking for, like a butterfly. Everybody loves butterflies. You can put them in every journal. I mean, they're general themed. So I just printed these on some 32-pound presentation paper, which is one of my favorite things to print them on because it holds up, but it's not too stiff and doesn't add a whole lot of bulk, and it is cheaper than buying cardstock. I do use cardstock for some things, but for ephemera and stuff, I like this. So I just grabbed some scraps from a journal that I had made recently, and I'm just going to back them on here. And you could print, you know, on the back of it. I didn't do that, so I'm just showing you multiple ways. I'm just taking my glue stick and I'm going to glue it down to back it. This also will add a little bit of thickness since I'm only using the 32-pound paper. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut it out. And I will stitch around the edge, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so we're going to do like 2 of these so I don't keep you here all day. Let's just choose a different background for the other one. So we'll do clock and we will do hat. Pretty much what I'm going to do here is take this over to my sewing machine, stitch around the edge, and then distress the edge, and maybe do a little bit of stamping and just show you how you can totally transform a simple printable into something specific for your journal. What's nice too is that every time you print these to use in another journal, you can stitch with different color thread, or use different colored backings, or use different stamps and make it totally new, and it won't even hardly be recognizable as the same thing you used in the previous journal. All right, so now these are backed. I will be right back. I'm going to go stitch around them. And I am back. So I used a pink, I usually have a different color thread in the bobbin that I do on top. So I had pink on top and a beige on the bottom. And I chose the pink to go around here. And now I'm just going to take some brown ink and just distress the edges. I like to distress after I sew so that ink kind of gets on the stitching as well and makes it look like the stitching is a little bit vintage or a little bit older as well. So I'm going to flip it over and distress this side too, since I'm going to do some stamping on the back. I've been starting to pay more attention to the backs of my journaling cards and tags and things. I think it adds a lot of character to have a back as interesting as the front. All right, so there's our fronts, hat and clock. Now I'm going to flip them over, and I have this wooden stamp. I believe this was from Michael's around Christmas time. My husband got it for me for Christmas, but I don't think it's Christmassy necessarily. I think it's kind of vintage and Victorian. So I'm going to use the same brown ink, and I'm just going to stamp kind of half on, half off. Whoop. Just to add a little bit more. I'm going to do the same thing here. I think it'll show up a little bit more on here. There we go. There. So in a matter of a couple minutes, we've turned these simple printables into something really, really nice for our journals. So I hope that you will check out her shop below. She also has a website, the Old Design Shop, that has a lot of free printables. And I've been using those in my journal, and I have mentioned them before, but she has files that she has put a lot of time in and put together on her Etsy shop that are absolutely no-brainers to buy if you work with junk journals, because these add so much. So if you have not heard of her before, please check her out. You will be glad you did. And I'd love to see what you've made with them. So you can post that on Instagram and tag me, or put it in the comments below. I'd love to see what you've done with some of her stuff. And there will be many more videos to come with different files that she has and how we can work with them.